Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Mystery Theory. Today is going to be another mist over episode where I am sharing a new case or video with you every day for the month of October. If you've been keeping up with a series of Mistober, you probably know that the first part is about people going after women and children. Today is Jack the Ripper. We've covered Ted Bundy and many more cases that you may want to check out. And I have a playlist that will pop up on the top of the screen and the description box down below. Now today is the infamous Whitechapel murders case that happened more than 100 years ago when Jack the Ripper terrorized London with vicious acts. Yet his identity remains unknown. There have been many more prolific serial killers than Jack the Ripper, but only a few have achieved his grisly renown. Most of the time, if you mention his name, people can even see an image in their heads. Between August and November of 1888, Jack the Ripper terrorized the overcrowded Whitechapel section of London East End. He was slashing the throats of victims and savagely mutilating their bodies. All of the killer's victims were women, and all of them were prostitutes. As the attacks became progressively more violent, they were publicized in London and around the world. The killer was never apprehended, and the case remains one of the most famous unsolved mysteries of all time. Though some speculate that Jack the Ripper murdered as many as a dozen women, only 5 are accepted as definite victims. And I will be sharing those victims' names with you. The very first one, Polly Nichols, who was 43 years old at the time. Her body was found on August 31st. Her throat was slashed and there were deep cuts on her abdomen. Second victim that I'll share with you is September 8th. Her corpse led investigators to suspect that the predator had a medical sort of training. The next one was Elizabeth Long-Liz Stride, who was 44. She was discovered on September 30th. Her throat had been cut, but she was not otherwise violated, leading investigators to think that the killer may have been interrupted. The next victim was also in her 40s. Catherine, she was 46 years old. She was discovered on September 30th. She had been disemboweled and her kidney removed. The autopsy noted that there was great disfigurement of the face as well. The next one was fairly younger, Mary Jane Kelly, who was 25 years old. She was found in her bed on November 9th, and she is believed to be Jack's last victim. Now, let's talk about the investigation. Almost from the first Whitechapel murder, theories and suspects abounded. The gruesome nature of the slaying, coupled with the profession of the victims, provided endless ideas for the newspapers, which tried to outdo one another with the gory details in some crazy theories. During the fall of 1888, hundreds of letters poured into the police and the press, and they were from people claiming to be the killer. Some even were signed Jack the Ripper. Now, some credible suspects included a barber who poisoned 3 of his wives, an insane Polish Jew who professed hatred of women, and finally, a mentally ill lawyer. Yet, none of Scotland Yard's efforts led to an arrest, prompting a number of high-profile resignations from the force. The case became the greatest of all time. To this day, so-called ripperologists continue to work the angles. Over the years, the Rippers' crimes have been attributed to Lewis Carroll, who is the author of Alice in Wonderland. Prince Albert Victor, possibly driven insane from syphilis, and Mary Piercy, a murderous midwife. In the century and a quarter since he committed his foul acts, Jack the Ripper has been the subject of many articles, books, Kosminski, a young Polish immigrant who was committed to an asylum soon after the killings. Although Kosminski has long been a suspect, Eddowes claimed to have done DNA testing that proves Kosminski's guilt. Skeptics were not convinced, and the riddle of the Ripper remains unsolved. Now, we have this suspect identified, Aaron, right? Well, let me tell you another story that involves novelist Patricia Cornwell, who is convinced, or was convinced, that she had figured out the identity of Jack the Ripper. I don't know if she still believes this, but she said in this article, quote, "I feel that I have cracked it," Patricia Cornwell said to the London Evening Standard in November of 2013. "I believe it's Sickert, and I believe it now more than ever." Patricia was obsessed with Jack the Ripper for years. First, shared her thoughts about the Whitechapel Ripper in her 2002 book Portrait of a Killer. Jack the Ripper. Case closed. Others too have identified William Sickert, a German-born artist who often had problems with prostitutes in the area, and they believe that he was the perpetrator. But few have gone as far as Patricia in their sleuthing. She has purchased 32 of Sickert's works, along with some of his letters and even his writing desk. Her proof of guilt, in case you're wondering, Patricia Cornwell, told the Standard that confessional and violent letters were sent to the police at the time of the murders, and some were written on paper bearing the same watermark as that used by Sickert. In her interview in the Standard, Patricia Cornwell said she will publish her new findings soon. So, more than likely, she still believes in this theory that she came up with. In 2006, the BBC voted Jack the Ripper the worst Briton of all time. Now, let's end today's video with a little bit of what they call the violent era. These contemporaries of Jack the Ripper may be less well known, but their crimes are just as terrifying. Starting in 1860s Bristol, England, midwife Amelia Dyer took in babies from impoverished unmarried mothers with the understanding that she would find homes for them. Over 30 years, Dyer is believed to killed as many as 400 infants. Some have speculated that Amelia and Jack the Ripper were one and the same. In 1853, traveling salesman Manuel Blanco Roma Santa, Spain's first known serial killer, confessed to murdering 13 people and using their body fat to make soap. It is now believed that Roma Santa was initially raised from a gender disorder known as, I'm gonna butcher it, pseudomaphroditism. Yeah, probably. Yeah, no, I butchered that. In 1897, drifter Joseph Baker, who came to be known as the French Ripper, was charged with the strangulation and evisceration of a 17-year-old shepherd boy. He confessed to killing also 10 girls and boys and 1 woman between 1894 and 1897. In some cases, he sexually assaulted and mutilated the bodies. Well, wasn't that a fun time to be alive? I mean, this is horrible. But just listen to the very last one. Between 1884 and 1908, Norwegian, I always butcher that too, born Belle Gunness. Oh, yeah, you remember Belle, remember? I did a video about her. AKA Lady Bluebeard, murdered multiple husbands, children, and several suitors, typically for financial gain. After her farmhouse burned to the ground in 1908, the remains of 40 people were exhumed on her property. I'll have that video on the top of the screen if you want to check it out. So yeah, as always, and as I was reading something recently over the weekend, some cases are horrible, yet they're not popular, quote unquote, popular on the media. Depending on the race, depending on how likely is that people do that activity that the person was doing when they disappear. I mean, there are so many factors that will focus on the serious misnomer